Welcome now to this tutorial. In the previous tutorial, we don't look at inner join, but here we go look at outer join. You know, say we talk, say we get two types of joins, the inner and the outer join. Now we go look at the outer join, and for the outer join, we get two types of join. We get the left join and the right join. So waiting be left join. Basically, left join are to join all the columns in the left table, and right join are to join all the columns in the right table. Make we quickly take example. So for this example, we go use this database, the farm product DB database, and for that we go use farm products DB database. So make we run on. So then they are highlighted. So now the active database now be this. So make we just see as if we use the outer join on these tables. So select all columns from make we join the products table with the non-agricultural services table. But before we join them, make we just check as MB. Okay, there's the products, the farm ID, animal products, plant products, and other services. And for non-agricultural services table, we have the farm ID and then other services, other non-agricultural services rendered by the farms. So we'll go back to our query window. So select all columns from products table, and then make we join. Okay, make we first give them an alias, let's say P, and then make we join them with another table, which is the non-agricultural services table. And then make we give this one an alias, let's say NA. And so on what condition do we want to join them? So on the farm IDs, because they have similar farm IDs. So make we can put on p.farm ID. It could be equal to the farm ID column for the non-agricultural services table. So NA dot farm underscore ID. So make we run this one now, see what we go get. So we have the columns from the products table and then a column from the non-agricultural services table. If you notice, now only 6 rows it returns, 6 records it returns for us. And that's because if you check the non-agricultural services table, make we check them, you go see say now only like 6 farms they offer other non-agricultural services. So we don't have the rest of the farms offering non-agricultural services. So now why it return only those 6 rows? Because we don't join them on that condition. Now you make MySQL return just these 6 rows for us. But what if we want to check all the other farms and just in comparison with these ones we get non-agricultural services? So now there left join come. So waiting left join basically they do be say it go return all the records in the products table in the left side. So you know say this products table don't do the left side, non-agricultural services table to the right side. So we'll just include the keyword left join so that we go feel return all the farm with the farm IDs in the products table. So if you run them, so you see them, so you don't return all these products for us. If you look at the farm ID 1, 2, 3, you go see the other non-agricultural services have just null values, and if you come down safe, you go see farm ID 7 gets null value. So now why not return them for us? So now how we feel use left join with this. Now let's go a bit further. Maybe we want to add another table. Let's look at which table to add. Okay, maybe we'll add them from a different database. Let's say the ownership table. We'll check them. We'll close all these ones. Like say we don't need them too much. Okay. To join the ownership table, we join them. But don't forget, say anytime we want join a table from a database when no they active, we guys prefix the name of that table with the name of the database. So farm db dot and the name of the table, ownership table. So if we alias this one as O, and then if we write the condition, we want join on the condition that the farm ID for the products table, that is the farm ID column for the products table, go they equal to the farm ID for the ownership table. So p dot farm ID go they equal to the ownership farm ID column, that is the farm ID column in the ownership table. So that's o dot farm ID. Okay, so if you run this one now, we could run now. You see the result will give us. So this is a combination of three tables: the products table, the non-agricultural services table, which is here, and then the farm ownership table. But if you notice, one particular record they're missing, that is the farm with farm ID 4. And we'll go check the reason why. If you go to the ownership table, you go see the farm ID 4, we don't get the ownership details for farm with farm ID 4. So now why it can't omit them for here with that? But if you want to make it reveal all the details, including the ones where we say if they are missing in a particular table where you want join to run, if you just use the left join, as we don't learn them before, left join, and then if we rerun this one, so you see them, you don't bring them for. So this is the farm ID 4 that was missing before because it get no values for the farm ownership table. Okay, so now so if we use left join, if to say it gets some missing columns where they these non-agricultural services, now then we go use the right join. So for example, if non-agricultural services NA, if it did on the left hand side, we'll put them here, and then the product on the left hand side. So this one we can change to right join, and then if you run them, you see them. Once you don't run them like this, now the columns from the non-agricultural services table will come first, then followed by the products table, and then the farm ownership table. So if you want to select certain columns from the three tables, if you select them in the order way you want. Now so if we use outer joins, and now so if we take and solve problems inside MySQL. Before we continue to the next join, I want to quickly touch on something, and that's the using keyword. The using keyword. So what's be the using keyword? The using keyword, we use them simplify our queries. For instance, if you want to join certain things on a similar criteria, that is a criteria where they similar to both tables, instead of joining on so is equal to so column, we should just use the using the name of the column in brackets. So make we quickly see example. So for instance, we'll just paste this query. We'll paste this query. We'll paste them here. Okay. We don't join these two tables on this criteria, that is P is equal to farm ID, that is the farm ID column in products table is equal to the farm ID is equal to the farm ID column in the non-agricultural services table. So instead of this, if we just come out this and use the using keyword, so once we join the agricultural services and non-agricultural services table to the products table using the farm ID, so we'll put them in brackets, and then we'll go write the name of the column we want to join them with. So using farm ID. And so here, if we do the same thing using farm ID. So if you run them like this, you will get the same results. So instead of using on the table and the column is equal to the table and the column of whichever table you want to join, so we will just use the using keyword. So it will make our query day simpler and shorter. The next join we will go look now the natural join. So what's in be natural join? Natural join and join will be say the join tables based on columns where they similar. Natural joins they're relatively simpler, but they're advisable because sometimes they produce unexpected results. Make we see an example of natural join. So maybe we want to join the farm details table to the estimated capacity table. So for example, maybe we want to join the farm details table to the estimated capacity table. The first thing we'll do, we go use the database we want to use now. Make it the active database, and then we can look at our example. So select all columns from what table do we want to join? The farm details table. We'll alias this one as F, and then we can do a natural join. Natural join to another table, the estimated capacity table. Okay, we'll call them E, and then we run this query. So you see it don't join them based on the similar column, and the similar column is the farm ID. So that is the farm ID 3 for the farm details table, it will coincide with the farm ID 3 in the estimated capacity table, and so on and so forth like that. The farm records for farm ID 10 in the farm details table, it will coincide with the records for the farm ID 10 in the estimated capacity table. So now, so if we use natural joins, but as we don't already talk, they're advisable because sometimes they produce unexpected results. So we don't come to the end of this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll go look at unions and what thing will they take and do.